Welcome to the Jet Set Hers podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jamie. We discuss travel, adventure, and everyday life. Listen with us and let's go somewhere.
Hi.
Yo, Jenny, what's up?
Hello.
So we have my nephew with me right now. Hi, Xander.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Xander. I was going to say, who is that over there?
How you doing, Xander?
Good.
Good. What did we just get done doing?
Scalloping.
Do you have fun?
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Scalloping. I cannot wait to hear about it.
Yeah. I'm actually in Florida this week, everyone. Yay. Woo-hoo. My sister and her husband have a brand new house. I'm here. It's really nice being in it and seeing it and being with my nephews. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Xander, what are you drinking?
A Jones cane soda.
A Jones soda. That reminds me of my childhood.
I love Jones soda. What flavor, Xander? What flavor are you drinking?
Root beer.
Root beer.
Classic. I love it. I love a good root beer. That's actually one of my favorite sodas.
Yeah. He's preparing for the real beer one day.
Okay.
How old did you just turn?
13.
13. Officially.
I remember that age.
Officially a teenager.
How's it feel?
Good.
Xander's been lucky. He's traveled a lot of places so far in his life. Where's the favorite place you've ever been?
The Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Oh.
It's a hotel that was an old train. Or is it old train?
So you get to sleep on it?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit more.
You get to sleep in one of the cars, and it's like there's a bathroom, and I think there's 2 beds.
Very cool.
That actually sounds awesome.
Yeah. And it's in Tennessee?
Yes, in Tennessee.
When did you stay there?
Oh, on the way to Chicago.
Oh, for Rachel's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Xander. If you could
sounds really fun.
Yeah. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Australia.
Australia. It's a big one. Why do you want to go to Australia?
All the cool animals.
Like the spiders and the scary animals?
Definitely not.
What kind of animals?
Like kangaroos and all the tortoises.
I want to go to Australia really bad.
And the koalas. Those are adorable.
Oh, the koala bears. For sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The koalas.
We agree with you. So we'll all go together, okay?
Okay.
So do you want to tell everyone about your YouTube channel real quick?
It is Inner Immortals Gaming.
How do you spell it?
INNER space IMMORTALS space GAMING.
All right. And what do you focus on your YouTube channel?
Gaming and art animation.
Very cool. Well, that's my nephew, everyone. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Xander. Gonna have to give him a follow on YouTube right now, everybody. While I'm doing it, you guys should go on there and subscribe as well.
Yeah.
And I just did it. So, yeah, you guys get on there and do that as well.
Very cool. So that was my nephew. Well, now our real guest this evening is my beautiful sister.
Thank you.
Hi, Susie.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Hi, Susie.
Yeah.
Hello.
This is my sister, Jamie. Jamie, my sister. Yeah, I think you guys have met before, but hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so we're here. We're going to talk about our trip this week while I'm in Florida. We're here for a scalloping trip. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about New Orleans, because if anyone knows about New Orleans, it's my sister, for sure.
Can't wait to hear about it.
What are you drinking, Susie?
I am drinking a Wakulla Hefeweizen from First Magnitude in Gainesville. They got an adorable little mermaid logo. It's a great place.
Yeah. And also I see that 1% of their sales goes to spring protection in Florida, which I feel like is really close to our heart. So that's awesome.
Definitely.
We were scalloping just down the road from Wakulla, so.
Yeah, we were scouting in St. Marks, Florida. It's very close to Wakulla Springs, which is where the name of this beer comes from.
Cool.
What are you drinking, Jamie?
I have something that I'm not used to drinking, but it's actually pretty good, so I'm satisfied. It's a mango tangerine sour. It's an ale brewed with mango and tangerine. It's actually from a brewery in Wisconsin that I've never heard of before. but the can was really, really cool when we went to our beer store. So I grabbed it. It was like $5, and it's not strong. It's like 6%, but it's actually pretty good. It's definitely sour. You can taste the tangerine a lot. I'm not used to it, so it's a switch up from my IPAs.
I find it funny that we find 6% not to be strong just because we're so used to the IPAs. But
yeah, for sure, at all. All right, Jenny, tell us about what you're sipping on.
So originally I was going to surprise you with the Hefeweizen that my sister's drinking and not be drinking an IPA. But then we were at the store and I saw an IPA that just looked really good. So I am drinking an IPA today. It's from Offshoot Beer Company, which is out of California, but it's called Relax Hazy IPA. The logo is really cute, though. It's like a man relaxing in a little inner tube, and there's like a giant whale heading towards him. Whale shark. So it's
that
really
is cool.
It's a really cute can, and it's a hazy IPA. You know, we all love those apparently. So.
Yeah, I definitely am drawn to cans, like artwork on cans. And I don't think I mentioned the brewery, so I want to plug the brewery of the one that I'm drinking too, Collective Arts Brewing. I don't know if I said that. It's
no, you didn't.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
I like that name though, Collective Arts Brewing.
Yeah, I'll have to check out more from them. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I'm here in Florida. It kind of was like an impromptu trip. I planned it a couple weeks ago. I know we talked about it on a former episode about going scalloping in Florida. It's something my sister does every year. It's what, your third year going? Fourth year going. And so I was telling her, man, I really want to come see your new house. I want to come see the boys. Like Xander just turned 13, who we just talked to. And she's like, well, you want to go with us scalloping? And I was kind of at first like, there's no way I can make that happen. And then it was like, why not? So made it happen. Flew into Tallahassee on Thursday. And they picked me up from our parents. And we went down to St. Mark's Beach, which is just south of Tallahassee. It's
not really a beach, just more St. Mark's Inlet.
Yep. It's more of an inlet. We stayed at
Shell Island Fish Camp.
It's not glamorous, nothing fancy. It is a old school motel, but it has boat docks, access to the water. Our friends had their boat dock there. It was a good little spot. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's there for either scalloping or fishing or something. Gator watching. We saw so many alligators.
That's so cool.
She was feeding the alligators.
I was feeding the alligators, which is probably not the most legal thing to do, but
right.
We were just scalloping.
We were just cleaning our scallops, and there just happened to be a gator's mouth that we were throwing them into. There was a ton of gators, which I love. I think they're adorable. So it was my vacation paradise. Saw big gators, little gators. They were all hanging around. And it was never threatening. They're always in the water. You just stay out of the water there. It's pretty simple. But how did you guys find that fish camp?
Amy's mom has been going there on and off for years. So
okay. So it's like a known family place.
So like when you're at the fish camp, do they like take you out on boats, or like luckily you had your friend's boat there, so is that how you went out on the boat, or like do they take you out, or it's just like a place to stay? Because you're saying fish camp, so
yeah. I don't know if they do charters. Gotcha. I do know that they rent pontoon boats. So I think they have 3 on property that they can rent out, and probably a few fishing boats too. Gotcha. So one of our friends the last day, they came and rented a pontoon boat. So they took 8 people out on that. We went out on our friend's boat, and then
their brother.
Their brother also he runs his own
Mass Man charters.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get chartered and go out and get scallops, but didn't have your own boat or want to rent one and drive the boat by yourself, you could call.
He does one. Yeah. So highly recommended. Mass Man Charters. We'll give him a little plug just because he was the one that kind of gave us the tour for free this weekend. But he definitely knows his stuff. Like we were stopped. Our friend Ben was fishing for the longest time, wasn't getting any luck. And this guy is so good that he goes, I see a ladyfish in the water. He threw a rod in and caught the ladyfish that he saw. Like that fast. It was insane. He let it go. He released it, but that's just how good he is. Yeah. He saw it and he caught it. Boom. So
that's insane.
We recommend him anytime if you're heading
that direction.
Captain. Yeah.
That's super awesome.
Yeah. And he knows the spots. Like he took us to several different spots as we were scalloping. And the weather was kind of bad, and he helped kind of keep us away from the storms too, which was helpful too. So yeah.
That's really good.
But he didn't help us from getting burnt.
Yeah, we did get burnt.
Fried.
My back is fried. Day 1, my face and shoulders got it. So day 2, I was so keep the sunscreen on my face and shoulders. So good, so good. didn't even think about my back. And when you're scalloping, your back is what's hitting the sun because you're in the water. My back is fried. So we're taking turns. Put lotion on my back. Put lotion on my back.
All right. You look a little red.
Yeah. It's not a Florida vacation, though, if you don't come back with some kind of a sunburn. So
Agreed.
right.
Because if you live in Florida, you're white as hell. But
Right.
visit it, you get a tan.
That's how it goes.
Right.
So, but yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, nothing glamorous, but it was a good time. They have 3 little cats that hang out around the board. They're really cute. Like we were sitting there watching a guy clean a fish, and the cat was sitting there like, hey, give me some. And he gave her a big chunk of fillet fish, and she ate it and then still was like, more. And she's the tiniest little cat. It was the craziest thing. Yeah.
Savages.
You know what's crazier is they say their third cat doesn't even like fish. They'll only eat cat food.
Yeah, one of
to
the black.
survive.
There was like 2 orange and 1 black, and the black cat doesn't eat seafood. And it's like, why are you here, buddy? This is all seafood right here. But it's funny.
Don't belong here.
Yeah,
He's just, chilling. No pressure.
chilling like a villain.
So I need more details about scalloping because like I said, I have never heard of it because I'm a northerner, a Yankee. So I need to know every detail about scallops because I love eating them and cooking them. Now, if I went to go catch them, would I be horrible at it? I'm sure. Would I want to do it? Yes.
No, you get the hang of it pretty fast, I think.
I mean,
Do you use a net? Like,
can.
how deep is the water? Please, you guys, fill me in.
All right. Well, we're catching bay scallops, so they're not very large. If you get
so when
sea
you
scallops,
when you
they're
when
much
you eat
larger.
the really
Okay.
large scallops, those are
More than likely actually shark or manta ray. But
oh really? I know.
Wow.
yes.
Fun fact
So,
alert.
what are the scallops? You said bay scallops?
Yeah, they're bay scallops. They're tiny. They're about size of your thumb in diameter.
Yeah, when all said and done, what you're eating, the part is very tiny.
Wow.
It's not like the scallops you get that are like large.
Yeah.
They're not your bacon wrap scallops. These you could cook
Bacon
with
wrap.
bacon, but you could wrap them with.
Yeah.
They're too tiny.
So yeah,
Wow.
I guess we'll just go day by day from what we did, and then you can learn through my experience.
Well, as the 4th year going, we always like to make sure we have plenty of beverages. So we make
Alcoholic.
Jello shots,
Okay.
and
You can't catch any if you don't have alcohol.
right.
So.
And we spike a watermelon, we slice it up and add this time 4 cups of different liquor into it so it could marinate for 2 days before we went out on
It was
the boat.
some good watermelon. Let me tell you.
It was very
Just-
good watermelon.
Next year, I'm taking work off and I'm coming.
We'll
I'm
get a room. We'll get a room.
serious.
Yep.
You sliced a what? Okay, I'm there. Okay, but continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No. Okay. So our Jello shots, though, she went all out. We had a mojito Jello shot that had fresh mint leaves.
And,
Yeah, I
and
can't
fresh
deal.
key lime juice. And
Yeah.
then-
We had apple and strawberry
With-
Jello shots, peach.
Well, the mojito was made with cucumber and mint vodka. So it was a cucumber mint mojito. And then I made a peach, apple, orange Jello shot, and then an apple crown strawberry Jello shot.
Salivating.
It helps though, because you're like, oh, I'm in the water. It's hot. I don't have time to drink a whole drink. So Susie just hands you a Jello shot, and it's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need.
Right.
Until we got dehydrated. But we loaded the boat up
And
with
some
that.
water, maybe. You know,
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
semi-important.
Some snacks.
Some
Follow
snacks.
Danny out to the proposed location. 'cause
Well, okay,
we
day
have
one,
water.
I had a pub sub. And let me just tell you,
What kind, bitch? What kind?
I had an ultimate. That's my go-to. I don't do the tender, even though the chicken tender pub sub is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So as soon as I landed off the plane, I told my parents, head to Publix. And then actually it was Susie that took me to Publix. Pub sub, day one. Okay. So let's just start there.
Sub and chicken tenders.
treat
And I got
yourself
chicken
right.
tenders from Publix too. They're so good.
We just made lowly old sandwiches, but too much from-
I know I'm eating this pub sub and everyone around me is eating these regular sandwiches just glaring at me because they're all like, dang, that looks good. And I'm like, I haven't had this in 9 months. Back up. My pub
Right.
sub.
So when you get out there, you got to make sure you have you don't necessarily have to have fins because 90% of the time the water's about 4 foot, 5 foot. If you wanted to touch, you could put your feet down. But I'm a fishophobe and I don't like seagrass. So I float and not let my legs touch that
Because there are some sandy spots, but most of it, the seaweed is a good 2 feet high.
Mhm.
So if you're putting your foot down, who knows what you're stepping on? Yeah.
That's me. I'd be like, hell to the no.
Yeah.
So we either use the yellow standard life jackets and you kind of wrap it around your waist so it keeps your butt up in the air, or pool noodles and just float so you can dip down with a net if you want a net.
I have to say, after all my struggling, pool noodles work the best. You just put one literally at your waist, like almost below your stomach. So if you have to dive down, your front half can still dive down, but then your back, your legs, your butt will stay up.
Right.
Out of the grass.
Yeah, out of the grass.
Right.
For sure.
Cool.
I tried several ways. So I have asthma and anxiety, and they have the full face mask. So it's like,
which I enjoy because I also have anxiety, but that
she loves it. So it's like the full face. It covers your chin, your nose, your eyes, and then it'll block the water, so you can dive under and come back up, and no water will get in your mask, which is great. They're a great idea, whoever invented them. However, when you dive down, it kind of like squeezes your face a little, and then I couldn't take a deep breath after it. So I could not do that.
And they're not easy masks to take on and off.
Yeah. Because you have to fully pull it off. And so I was having a hard time breathing. I couldn't do that. It's a great idea for those that don't have asthma, though, to do the full face.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I switched to just a regular mask and snorkel. That way, when I came back up, I could rip the snorkel off and take a deep breath. And that worked for me. And that's how I actually caught more, I think, was getting more comfortable.
When you got,
For sure.
Yeah. So the first place we went, it was actually pretty deep. I would say 5 to 6 feet. Because there was one I dove for, and I think my feet were still underwater with fins. So those are pretty deep. And so that's a little harder. So as you're swimming, they're actually open. When you look down, the scallops are open, and you can see their little eyes looking at you.
What?
Got a couple of great pictures of them. You'll have to check
With them
out.
open, yeah.
What?
Yeah, so when you look down, their little shells open. You can't see us, but I'm showing Jamie with my hands on FaceTime. But so they open, and you can see their little eyes, and then they just kind of, and then as you get closer, they'll snap shut, kind of, and they'll try to swim.
Try to
away
like
from
wiggle
you.
away.
Yeah.
What?
Well, they're kind of like, they close their shell and the pressure propels them backwards. So they're like,
Got you. So they're like moving, but without doing anything. They're just shutting their shell. That is insane.
Y'all can't see it, but we're showing her a picture through the video.
I'm sure she'll post it.
We will definitely post all the pictures on our Insta.
That blows my mind.
Right. So when we first did it and it was really deep, I had a hard time because I would catch a breath and then dive down. And then by the time I dive down, I'd lose where it was. And then I'd have to swim back up. And it's like, where'd it go? But then we went to somewhere more shallow, and it was a little bit easier because you could see them better. You could get to them quicker. And actually day 2, we went to somewhere that was so shallow and they were sitting almost on top of the grass. So I had a net, and I would literally not even have to dive. I could just reach with my arm and just like snatch them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scoop them with the net. That's a great idea.
Her first one she caught that day, she brought to me at the boat because I was up there, and she handed it to me and I dropped it. So
yeah, she was on the boat, and I was like, Susie, take it. And she was like, oh, cool, and then dropped it.
Well, I picked it up and I was looking at it, and it opened its shell all the way up, like protesting. And as it closed its shell, my fingers were still open in shock, like that just moved, and it closed and fell out of my hand.
Yeah.
So,
Did it fall onto the boat or back into the water?
Back into the water. It deserved to live. Let's just say that. I guess it fought for its life.
unless somebody else caught it.
And someone else may have picked it up. We had 10 people out there scalping around us that were in our group, so it probably got picked back up.
We filled up 3 5-gallon buckets
that day.
3 5-gallon buckets.
Mm-hmm. And then we picked up 2 the day before. So
Can you guys mail scallops through the mail? I have Venmo.
I have Venmo.
I mean, you probably could have mailed shrimp before, but you just have to.
No promises on the fresh. You'll just have to. We'll have to do it next year.
Exactly. That's the excuse, and that's going to be like the anticipation build up to next year. Is like
we'll rent a boat
just
next
tease
year.
me for like the whole rest of the 11 months. Tease me with like your stories.
Put it on your calendar, like the beginning of August, typically.
Yeah, normally the last week in July to August, because we always celebrate Xander's birthday.
Yeah. So just put it on your calendar. We'll go next year.
Is that like a certain time that those scallops are like out and abundant?
Yeah, mid July.
So they like
to
hot.
September.
So they're out when the water is the hottest.
Got you.
That's how you kill them. You put ice in the bucket, and they just kind of like close up, and then they
Okay,
die, which
did
is
not
really
know that.
morbid, but they're delicious. So
Do other scallops, like other different kinds of scallops, do they have different like seasons? Like I guess, for lack of a better word, like a different time that you should go searching for them?
I honestly don't know. I've only ever gone
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I've only ever done the
coastline
Gulf.
scallops.
Yeah, Gulf scalloping.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's something we'll have to look up, but I was
Look
just
into.
wondering.
Yeah. It's a good question to ask.
I guess it probably makes sense, different kind of scallop, I guess.
Yeah.
The only downfall to catching as many as we did is then we had to go back and clean them ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cleaning them, you have to put them on ice because the colder they get, the faster they die, which makes you feel less bad being like a little murderer.
And
But
easy they are to open.
yeah. And so the colder they get, they actually open a little bit more. So instead of having to pry them open, they just open when they're really cold and they die. So then when they're open, you kind of you slowly open them. You don't want to rip them open because
An oyster knife.
Yeah, an oyster knife. So the scallop part, the part that you
Gotcha.
actually connects it from one shell to the bottom shell.
It's the muscle.
Yeah, it's the muscle that connects them. So if you rip it open, you rip the scallop.
Gotcha.
So what you do is you barely open it and you take that knife and you cut it, you like disconnect it from one shell. And then you can open that, disconnect it, and then you have to pull out all the guts, like the gooey, the muscle, the membrane, everything. Yeah, it's really gooey. It's kind of like the inside of an oyster to me, texture-wise, like that slimy. Yeah, so you rip all that out, and when you do, you're left with this tiny little scallop. So we would throw that in the water, and there was a gator there eating it, which was really cute. He was like a 6-foot little gator, and he would just go to the bottom and pick him up, chomp, 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 and eat him. Yeah, so this is what you're left with. We're showing her a picture, which we'll include on the Insta.
That's the inside?
Yeah, that's what you're left with after you get the gooey part out.
Wow.
So then from there...
You're right, it is really small.
It's tiny. And we actually use plastic spoons for that. We would just plastic spoon to take those out of the shell.
Scoop it out?
Yep. And so it's crazy because you have this giant bucket, and then after you're done cleaning them all, you have this tiny little Ziploc bag. It's like so crazy to see the difference.
2 buckets was less than a gallon of, or a half gallon of Ziploc bag, and then 3 buckets were just over a half gallon.
So it's like you do a lot of work for a little bit of scallops. It's crazy.
Right.
It's still fun though. I think it's worth it.
Sure.
And we met Old Bud.
Yeah. So day 2, day 2 is the first time I actually let myself get a buzz on, because we were Jello shots drinking the whole time. But like when it's so spaced out and you're drinking water, you don't really feel it. So day 2, we're all out there, and I'm like, I feel a buzz on, so I'm going to keep this going. So I made sure to keep drinking. So I was feeling pretty good, and we get back to the dock and we start cleaning our scallops, and there were some like local guys sitting on the dock, and he was like, let me show you how to clean those scallops. Like, you're a tourist, let me show you how it's done. So he actually came over. This older,
had his glove and his scallop,
his knife,
oyster knife.
This older, just Florida redneck guy, living his best life.
No teeth.
No teeth. He sits down and does an entire bucket in the time that like 5 of us do a bucket. Like, it was insane how fast he went through them. But he shucked them for us. Like, he went through, he cleaned them. And we just started talking to him, and he was just living his best life. He had an RV there on the property, but he also had a wife pretty close by that he lived with. And I was asking him, I was like, where's the best place you've ever traveled? And he's like, I went to Mexico on a boat once. That was fun. Like, he was just a good old boy, good old Southern boy.
But he sent his wife to Italy after he got hurt, and she had to take care of him for a couple of months and not do much else. When he was healed, he was like, where do you want to go, honey? And she's like, Italy. So he shipped her off to Italy for a month as a thank you. So, he's a good old boy, literally.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good husband right there to send your wife to Italy. And he's like, well, she did things to me, helping me out. And so
he goes, if she got hurt like that, I'd just hire somebody. I'd love her, but I'd hire somebody.
Yeah.
Right, and sent her by herself too. Like, hell yeah, she wants that alone time too.
She took her kids
to Italy.
Well, that's good.
So.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, we made friends with Old Bud. He showed us how to like clean crab. I think he sat there and cleaned some crabs.
He had a bag of blue crabs, so he went and got those that he'd cooked, and he sat down and
he was showing us how to shell those, and he was just eating it raw,
passing them around.
Crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he actually went gator hunting. At that night, and that's insane. I don't really want to kill them because I love them, but I get it. They're overpopulated. But
right.
He
Yeah.
said if he had found one, he would have come woke us up so we could see it.
Yeah, he came by the next morning.
Mhm.
He said they had like a 9-foot on board, but then they saw like a 10, 12-foot one that they wanted. So I think they ended up losing both from what I.
Oh my God.
But yeah, he's just living his best life in Florida his entire life for the most part and is totally okay with that.
Right.
So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was. But then we cooked them
Aw.
up. We made a garlic cheese pasta and then garlic sauteed the scallops and mixed them together, and that was dinner. So,
Oh my God, I can't live without it.
but one of our best scallopers catching scallops doesn't even eat
Yeah.
them. He just likes to
Really?
scallop and catch them, and
Yeah.
he won't eat seafood at all.
It's so funny. He'll come
Oh
back
my
to the boat
gosh.
with a bag full of scallops, but he doesn't eat them. He just enjoys the swimming and catching.
That is
He's
so
a
funny.
steak and potatoes kind of guy, you know?
That is cool though.
Yeah.
Hey, at least he's good at it and he doesn't mind like sharing with you guys. It's like, come on, you
Yeah.
could definitely come scalloping with
Yeah.
us. Shoot.
I mean,
More for
Danny,
us.
who's the leader of the Masked Man Charters, he gave us all his scallops just because he goes out there every weekend. But he would be
Right.
bringing us full bags and be like, here you go. After like 5-10 minutes in the water, it was like he had a full bag. I'm like, how? How are you finding
That's
all these?
insane.
But when you're out there every weekend, you know what to look for, where to look.
Right.
You can hold your
How
breath
to
longer
catch
and
'em.
dive
Yeah.
deeper.
I will say I was irrationally scared of them. Like I was scared they were going to bite me, even though like they really can't. They're just these little shells that chomp a little. I was irrationally scared. So I didn't want to carry a bag in the water of them because I'm just like, what if they bite me, you know? Totally irrational. I'm aware, you know? So my brother-in-law, Chris, he had a bag. So I would just swim next to him. And if I found one, I'd be like, here, take it. Like, and he'd take it. So then he'd be like, hey, there's one here. And we kind of helped each other fill his bag. So that was fun.
But she still kept count.
I did. I got 2 the first day, 18 the second day, 20 altogether.
But you still kept count.
I'm very proud. Let's just
That's
say that.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like if they nip you? Like kind of like a little cat bite or something, like a
I
kitten?
didn't let them bite me, so
No.
I've never been bit. I know
Really?
Danny was playing around and caught one with his toe while he was standing in the water, and it snapped at him. He's like, ooh, that snapped my foot.
yeah. Even Xander was like, "This one just bit me," but he's like, "It doesn't hurt, Aunt Jenny." So I don't know what that means.
Oh.
But what was funny is like on the way home, I think it was day 1. So day 1, I had the bucket full of scallops in front of me, and I was in the back of the boat. We were like, drive pretty fast, into the next spot. And so I'm standing there staring at him just because I'm amazed. It's my first time since I was a little kid that I can remember scalping. So I'm like looking at him and I'm like, oh, they have eyeballs. They're looking at me. And then like, I swear like 3 of them spit at me at the same time. Like the whole bucket water just comes flying at my face. And I'm like, you little buttheads. And I had to like push the bucket away.
Wait,
They
can
They
spit
can
at you?
spit at you. Yeah.
When they slap their shell closed, it pushes the water out.
You can't see Jamie's face, but she's in shock.
I cannot understand scallops right now. They are so cool.
They are. They literally were like spitting at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we're going to eat you. Like, but you're delicious. But I'm sorry.
Exactly. Talk that shit to them. You gonna spit at me? I'm gonna eat your ass. What's up? Ask about me, scallops. I caught 2 the first day, 18 the second day. Ask about me, scallops. Shoot. That's what I be saying.
And they ate
everyone
like 45.
Yeah, I did eat like that.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I would have been telling them, scallops. Shoot.
There's more in the
Girl.
fridge downstairs, actually.
Gonna make some
Okay.
with the rest.
Yeah.
Man.
But it's fun.
But it was a good time because, like,
As
after
long as you
scalping,
remember sunscreen.
oh yeah, sunscreen. I should know better. Florida sunscreen always, all
Yeah,
day.
you should know
Reapply. Don't spray the spray kind in your nephew's eyes because then his eyes hurt and he gets mad at you for the rest of the day. Learn that the hard way.
Why'd you put it in his eyes, Jenny?
So I always just put the spray on my eyes. It doesn't hurt, but I guess like whatever
Not
kind
on your eyes, but
whatever
around
kind
your
she
eyes.
has is more intense and.
It dripped into
For the
his
next
eyes.
hour, me and him. So I did it too. So I had it as well. But both me and him were like, our eyes are burning. And like, I'm like, totally my fault, dude. I'm sorry.
Right.
So scalloping, obviously we had really good luck with it. We found a lot where we were. But anyone going scalloping, our recommendations would be, where else can they go besides St. Mark's?
Steinhatchee.
Steinhatchee.
And I would just call and ask how the season is.
Yeah.
You know.
But then also if you're there and you're just like, you go park your boat in one spot and you can't find any, don't give up. Move a mile over because
Find the
so
other boats
different.
that are parked.
Yep. You'll see the other boats with their dive flags up.
Right. That's probably smart too.
Yep. And another thing is like the current. Keep in mind the current moves, so that probably moves the scallops too. So just keep looking, and they're there during the hot months. They are there for sure.
Oh yeah.
We would have
That's
no
so
luck at one
awesome.
place, and the next place we'd have a full bucket within 10, 15 minutes. So
Yeah, within 3 hours we
Yeah.
were.
I'm going next year, so
For
just
real.
count on
that I
it.
know, and they actually have. So where we stayed, it was like hotel unit, like two double beds, bathroom, very
Standard motel.
basic hotel. Nothing fancy, but again, you're there to be on the boat. You're not there to be in the hotel.
Yeah.
And they also have bigger units available. They had some 2-bedroom, like little units. They had some little, like tiny homes almost. So if you're serious about it, we can look and maybe book far enough in advance to like get
Yes.
the
Yes,
bigger
I'm
unit.
serious.
The
So-
location in Steinhatchee, they're like tiny cabins, right? The one that Happy and Ginny have every year is right on the water. Because they bring their own boat and they look out their front door to their boat docked right in front of them. And it's a little
Wow.
bedroom, kitchenette, bathroom. Nothing fancy, nothing
So that's
big.
a good idea too.
How far is that? I'm sorry, Jenny. How far is that from the St. Mark's where you guys were?
Steinhatchee is on the underside of the armpit, where St. Mark's is on the top side of the armpit of Florida. So it's just right in
Gotcha.
that same region, but one's on the top side, one's on the bottom side.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I wonder if you can just like rent a boat from like a good marina, but then go to Steinhatchee, like you were saying.
Well, I mean, Steinhatchee, the river, and it's a whole town. It's not just like one little fish camp.
Yeah, because that'd be nice to like
Steinhatchee,
rent a
there's-
boat, but then also have it docked at like your own little Airbnb.
Well,
kind of thing.
they rent where the cabins are. They rent boats.
From there.
Mm-hmm. And then
Okay.
there's places across the street, and then there's all kinds of Airbnbs. Last year we stayed at an Airbnb that was the house up on stilts, so you parked underneath it, and it had a big deck that wrapped around the whole Airbnb, and it was a mile and a half from the dock,
Oh.
but it was awesome.
That does sound cool.
That sounds way awesome.
So just to everyone that doesn't have a boat, you can rent one and have
It's about
access.
$250 a day plus gas.
Yeah, so it's a little pricey, but if you go in on it with friends,
It's 8
family,
people.
yeah, that's 8 people.
Definitely worth it if you split it up with some folks for sure.
Yeah,
And it's a day of fun out on the water.
yeah, and like the
Well,
cool thing is freedom.
absolutely.
Yeah. So typically we would go to like 2 to 3 spots. And then once we felt like we had enough scallops, which we did both days by that point, we went to this place they call the Sandbar. And it's like probably, I saw at least 3 decent sized sandbars, and they're about like 2 feet deep, 2-3 feet deep. So all the boats kind of anchor up, and then you can get out and just like have a beer, sit there, swim, stand. You're not on seaweed, it's sand. So that was a nice little like,
Relaxing after.
yeah, we're done scalloping, so now let's relax and have fun. So
That sounds just absolutely incredible. So
Yes.
envious.
but then you have to get back and do the hard work, which is cleaning them, which we went over. So
Well,
Right.
if you go out of the place in Steinhatchee, they have somebody that will do it for you for $7.99 a pound.
it's worth it, let me tell you. If you want the
Right.
experience, you take about 5 of them, do it yourself, you'll feel real good, and then let someone else do it for you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would pay somebody for
Yep.
sure.
When they told me they were like, oh, it's like $8, I was like, I will pay someone $8 who wants to do it. But
But you know,
Right.
my youngest enjoyed it because every like 5th scallop he shucked, he ate it raw.
yeah, my little Luca, which is my other nephew here that you didn't hear from earlier, is the pickiest eater. He likes white rice, chicken, and a quesadilla, like very picky. He was cleaning them with us, and he was eating every 3rd one raw. He was eating more than he was passing to us to clean. And I'm just like, so like this picky
That's
kid,
awesome.
but he eating some raw scallops. Crazy.
And
Yep.
oysters too.
And
Wow.
oysters. What? So weird.
I think he just hasn't figured out his palate yet because
Yeah.
it's there. It's definitely there.
He's also my kid that likes coffee.
He does like coffee, which is weird for a
Okay.
child. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's there for sure. He's a little adult.
Yep.
Yep. That's what it sounds like to me.
So cute. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's a good little trip. I mean, Florida's humid, so I'm adjusting to that from my Colorado weather. But it's been nice to be down, see some gators,
Some
See the-
family.
the salt water,
Get back to your roots, Jenny.
my
Right.
roots. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the Panhandle, which is 2 hours from where we were this weekend. So everything we did, I think I kept saying, like, this is giving me flashbacks of my childhood. We went on the boat every weekend. I would ride on the front. Like, I kept riding on the front with my nephews, which is really sketchy. We would hit some really big bumps. And I just kept thinking, like, anti-mode, gotta save the kid if they go flying. But
No, she was thinking anti-mode. Which way do I have to throw my beer?
I did
to
have a
save the
beer in
kid?
my hand as I'm thinking.
Right.
I know. It would get so rough. I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw my beer and grab him if it gets that bad. Like, what am I going to do? So
Hand him the beer and grab him.
Oh, that's smart.
Right.
Make the kid hold the
Trade-off.
Dang, I was doing all wrong about it. Don't waste it.
That's hilarious.
Because you're going to need it if you bump that hard on the
Right.
boat. You're going to want that drink. So don't waste
Right, afterwards, for sure.
I've been on a boat as the motor falls off and you're going full speed. That's not fun.
As the motor falls off? Like, that's not normal.
Growing up, we were always on the boat, and one weekend something happened with like whatever was holding the motor on, and we were going full speed and it just falls off. And I just remember we went from like going fast to like going nothing, and it was very scary. But luckily my dad ran back and was able to grab it and hold on to it to keep it from fully like just sinking. And we had to get towed in.
Wow, that's
And I don't
insane.
even know where they towed us. They towed us to a friend's house, but we went to this mansion and he had a pet monkey, and it was the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest day.
Are you sure that's real life, or was that?
I may have imagined it, but I was a kid and I was
Oh my
not. I did not know what drugs were yet then. So I can promise I really did see a monkey.
How long are you in Florida for, Jenny?
I go back to Colorado tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I know. I'm like in this weird. I'm sad because I love my friends and family. My best friend Mark came up and saw me. I'm so happy for that. Love my sister and her family, but I've also missed Colorado. I miss my mountains, so I can't wait to see them.
And Kira girl.
And my Kira, my old lady.
And
puppy.
Bentley.
And Bentley.
That's crazy ass.
He is great. I actually do really miss him. That little crazy dog. So, but what's funny is like as soon as I get back, so I get back tomorrow night pretty late, Amber leaves early Wednesday morning for Florida.
Oh,
So
of course.
I'll have both dogs while she's in Florida. So it's like a trade-off. And she's like, thank you so much for watching. I was like, thank you for watching her. Like,
Right.
perfect timing. So
Definitely perfect timing.
yeah. So yeah, also having my sister on. She's been a lot of places, but we'll cover more later. But I think we're going to cover New Orleans too today because she went there.
Let's do
How
it.
often would you say?
Let's see. I used to go at least once a month for 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Wow.
My now husband, then best friend's sister lived in New Orleans. So we just go over there and crash at her house. And when she moved back to Panama City, we would go over and stay with her friends. And so we didn't have to worry about paying for hotel rooms. We just stay with people
Yeah.
and then go spend our time outside. Lots of outside in the hot and the sticky and the smelly, but it was New Orleans.
Yeah. So
Right.
she knew New Orleans like before the hurricane. Like she knew it before, she knew it after. She kind of got to see how it changed. She would take me when I was little. Like I remember we went on a trip. I was pretty young, and I remember she let me watch American Pie on the way, and I thought the movie was so naughty. So much
I
fun.
plead the fifth. I don't.
You don't remember correctly.
Nope.
So I just
I've
remember
never.
that. Yeah, I was like, this movie's inappropriate. You know, like
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not letting my son watch that anytime soon. So
definitely not teenage boys.
Nope.
I'll never pick apple pie again.
Nope. So yeah, obviously besides Friends, like what kept you going back? Would you
The
say?
atmosphere, the history, the art was just gorgeous and relaxing and fun.
Wow.
Have you been to New Orleans, Jamie?
I have not. It's always a place that I've see people going to like frequently. I'm like, that's a place that I feel like I would go.
I think you'd have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's just totally different. It's not common for the U.S. You see different culture, different food, I mean, you can drink walking down the street, which you can't do in a lot of places.
Right.
Obviously, it's known for Bourbon Street and parties, but it just has a ton of history, like,
And a ton of art.
and art.
You know, you do bourbon at night, but you go down Royal during the day, and every other shop is an art gallery
Wow.
or an antique shop, or, you know, just all kinds of fun, different things in the nooks and crannies, and just good stuff.
Wow.
And then the French market with all the different food and vendors, and delicious. Alligator on a stick for those who don't
That's
love
what I want to go
alligator
to.
as much. Or they love alligator.
I do love my alligators, but I also love the way they taste. So I would try that.
You've never tried alligator before?
No, I have.
Oh, you have? You do like how it tastes, you said?
Yeah. It tastes like chicken. You never had alligator?
No, Jenny, why would I just have alligator?
Because you
What?
lived in Florida. You lived in
For
Florida.
2 years, girl, bye.
Yes. So I've had fried alligator at restaurants, it tastes just like chicken, but like a little chewier.
Is there skin on it? Like
No.
It's
Not
white
when it's
meat.
fried. It's just like
it's
regular.
white meat?
Yes.
I'm learning
Jamie's in
so
shock.
much this episode. This is insane.
So I've also had gator jerky, like sold on the side of the road, which is where they take it and dehydrate it. And it tastes like really good jerky, honestly.
And New Orleans.
I love jerky.
In the quarter and in the market, you can get gator sausage on a stick. So it's basically sausage smoked on a stick, and you walk around eating gator.
Gator sausage. I mean, what more can you want?
Wow.
And then you get you a hurricane or a beer to go, or as some of the pictures say,
You definitely need a hurricane in New Orleans, because let me tell you.
Huge ass beer to go, actually.
Oh, yeah. They also have huge ass beers. Like it says huge ass beer on the side, and it's a huge ass beer. Okay. I had one of those. It was good. Yeah, the hurricanes there are delicious. They taste like a fruit punch that a kid can have. But let me tell you, one, and you're going to get lit. And normally it's like buy one, get one. So you'll end up with two and you're good to go. I went to New Orleans once. It was back in 2015. It was with Dakota, who we met a couple episodes ago. Yeah, that was where we took the mega bus, which I think we mentioned on the podcast. But so we went to New Orleans, and my parents at the time, our mom, me and Susie's mom, and then my dad, we have different dads. They lived there at the time. So we had a free place to stay. They went with us. We did a haunted tour. So they gave us free drinks at their base camp or whatever it was. And then we actually got to go on this walking tour with drinks in our hand, which is crazy. You can just drink walking down the street. And it was really informative. It was all like ghost stuff. Like there's supposedly a ghost here. We passed the Lalaurie Mansion, which you see in like,
wow.
What's that show? American Horror Story. So you see you learn about that in American Horror Story. So you pass there, you go to like a haunted pub, and then we actually said goodbye to my parents. They went home, and we went down Bourbon Street, and that's my one and only time on Bourbon Street, which I know Susie probably has way more stories than I do.
Know what you're talking about.
She probably won't talk about them all, but so it was a good night. We ended up at the bar that's owned by Channing Tatum. We met a group that's there for a bachelor party, met some boys. They were cute, got distracted. I ended up losing my phone, lost my Fitbit, I had like a big souvenir cup, lost everything. It was a good time. No regrets. How's your time on Bourbon Street, Susie?
Well, I never start on Bourbon Street, because if you start on Bourbon Street, you're just going to get wasted and not remember anything. So you start on Decatur at Coop's and get some red beans and rice or jambalaya, rabbit jambalaya. Rabbit. That's their jambalaya. And it's amazing. And it's 18 or older, because they have gaming machines inside, so you can't take your kids. And I think there's even a sign saying if you're easily offended, the bartender asks that you just don't come in. You know, it's a literal hole in the wall, not much wider than the room we're in right now.
Which is not big.
I think 10 tables in the bar. Best food ever.
And that's called Coop's.
Coop's.
So it's dinner and drinks. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind for anyone heading to New Orleans.
And
I love red beans and rice too.
It's delicious.
Jambalaya with rabbit, and I would probably try that as well.
I'd feel bad because like Colorado's covered in little bunnies, so all I picture is little bunnies, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's good. I've had rabbit before. I can do this.
Chris gets the jambalaya every time we go. I get the red beans and rice, and then we split. So that way we
share
get
each other's.
Smart. That's how me and Tiff are.
And then if you're going to go to Bourbon, definitely sightsee along the way, because there's so much to see, and there's so many stops and nooks and crannies. The oldest blacksmith shop, Marie Laveau's, if you want a little witchcraft. But
yes,
my favorite place on Bourbon.
We think alike, Jamie.
I know.
Only because
in
I know
unison.
The VJ or DJ or whatever, James, is Cat's Meow. It's a karaoke bar.
And who's James?
James is my sister-in-law's friend from New Orleans. So
Okay.
we've known him for 20 plus years, and we just go hang out there in the DJ box while we watch everybody else make fools of themselves in karaoke. Watch everybody else perform wonderfully while they sing on stage.
That sounds right up my alley. I love people watching at karaoke.
I will tell you,
sing. I'm going to sit there and laugh and drink the whole time.
New Orleans is where you want to people watch because there are some strange people in New Orleans.
Yeah, you go and can stay on Bourbon, which is fun at least once, and get a balcony so you can watch the people walk up and down the streets and you can stay out of it, and that's the best way to do it. But if you're going through the streets, you've got to go to Pat O'Brien's, which is the standard hurricane place, the Irish pub.
Yeah, I went there.
Pat O'Brien's at City Walk, I'm sure, is nothing like it, right?
It's similar in what you're getting. It's just, it's not the same outside atmosphere.
It's not the New Orleans feel.
You're not going to go get crazy at Universal Studios. You're going to get crazy in New Orleans.
Bitch, I've gotten crazy at Pat O'Brien's before. City Walk.
I know. I've been with you getting crazy at Universal.
Pat O'Brien's was one of my favorite spots when I lived there. Yes.
Yeah.
But I could definitely.
The hurricanes are pretty similar to what you'd get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like that type of setting would be way more like the atmosphere, the vibes would just be like amplified being like in New Orleans.
They are. Yeah.
All the red brick and wrought iron and
yeah.
alcohol.
History, crazy people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have to go down, and if you can afford to eat, there's the Two Sisters, which...
Two Sisters?
Like the Quarter Two Sisters. Their fine dining is okay, but I'll tell you, I had it was, I want to say a White Russian or a martini, but made with their Mardi Gras vodka, which was a king cake flavored.
Oh.
And it was so yummy.
That sounds really good.
It was delicious. And I can't remember the hotel, but there's a hotel.
That sounds like a headache waiting to happen.
No, it was good. There's a hotel that has a carousel inside the bar. The bar is the carousel. So when you sit down on the little stool,
you're going in circles.
I would going in circles.
That's where I'd throw up right
there.
The
bartender's stationary and you're just moving. It's slow, but you're slowly moving around the bartender.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember the name of it.
But you will have to look that up and put it on Insta or something.
Definitely.
It's fun. Yeah. I'll send you a picture of it. But it was fun. And of course, my favorite, just go to have a drink bar is Candace's on Conte. It's not on Bourbon. It's right off Bourbon on Conte Street. And it used to be called the Aaron Rose. And they've got the best Irish coffees. You can get them hot or frozen, and they are delicious.
A frozen Irish coffee sounds delicious.
Yes, it sure does.
So that was go sit in the corner and people watch there. It's a tiny little bar, but the atmosphere, all the stuff on the wall and hanging from the ceiling, it's just very, you feel New Orleans there.
Yeah.
Without all the tourists.
True. And that's always good to get off Bourbon for a minute.
Yes.
Wow. That sounds so nice. Okay, but can I ask why do some people say that it smells there?
Oh, because, unless you're in an establishment, you don't always have access to the restroom. So people are peeing all up and down the streets. Definitely make sure you wear thick-soled shoes because you don't want something small or stainable because there is water or unidentifiable liquid in all the streets, no matter what time of the year. And you don't want to step in it. And yes. And then of all your trash cans, it's the South. It's hot. It's humid. Every dumpster, it's all right there next to the road anyways. So it stinks.
Right.
Go during the rainy season and have a good poncho and it smells better.
Yeah. It's typical with New York City. When you're walking in downtown, the French Quarter, it's got that city vibe. You'll see homeless people. Sure. You'll see,
drunk people.
Which is like any big city, which is the sad, sad truth behind big cities in America is that you look one way and then you look the other way and it's right there. So
yep. Another thing is New Orleans can be dangerous for sure.
Right.
When I went, there were robberies happen all over. But the thing is, you don't go down dark alleyways by yourself. You stay on the main roads. Even if there's weirdos there, it's still the main roads where other tourists are, other people are.
You walk like you know where you're going and what you're doing, and people aren't.
And just
gonna
be
bother
smart.
you.
Keep an eye on your stuff. Yeah. Don't flash your brand new cell phone, your brand new whatever. Be smart about it.
The only annoyance I ever got was parking in a parking spot that must have been a local's spot, and they got mad I was parked there, and they rolled my license plate.
What does that mean?
I didn't have screws in the bottom half of it, and they took it and rolled it up like a cone or a parchment
That's
paper.
such a like catty little like FU, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Locals only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FU, yeah, that's crazy.
So now I just pay for parking.
Right?
But also, how strong do you have to be to roll it up like that? I feel
Right? Like that's
kinda-
not thin. That's a like metal license plate.
I feel like that would not be easy.
You'd have to have a lot of angst, you know, like fuck you as I roll it.
Right. I don't know. I get pretty mad sometimes driving. I feel like I'm not just going to do that. So I want to try it now. So maybe
It's so catty though, because it's
one
not
of
like
these
it's hurting her
days.
car. It's just like I'm so mad at you. Like
Exactly.
But it's something that would probably get me pulled over if I hadn't have noticed it, you know.
True, yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
funny.
That's the long game.
Yeah.
We're playing
They
that.
were mad. They were real
Right.
mad.
That is the long
But they were
game.
too mad to like key your car or something. So
Probably messed his hands up doing that too. Like, I hope you had gloves, Holmes. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah,
Locals
so
only.
New
Pretty
Orleans,
much.
like obviously it's a good time for drinking, but like what would you say is good to do like for non-drinkers? There definitely is a ton to see in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Well, the
good one, Jen.
Audubon Zoo is gorgeous. It's
Audubon.
huge.
Okay.
And it's attached to the Audubon Park, which is across the street from Tulane and Loyola universities. So there's a lot of walking and visual there.
So I don't think I've actually been to the Audubon Zoo, but we went to a cemetery close to there.
Philadelphia.
Cemeteries are also a good thing. Like it sounds weird, but we've said this before. I'm weird and morbid. It's fun to walk through, see the dates, see the weight, because they don't do in-ground burials. They do above-ground burials because they're at sea level. So it's neat to see the difference in that. Just like they had no choice; they had to do above ground. It's kind of cool to see the tombs and how they do it.
And the ones all downtown in the Garden District are so old, and the dates.
So old,
and
yeah.
I mean,
That's
Marie
fascinating.
Laveau, not
The
witch
voodoo
doctor,
queen.
but voodoo queen, yeah.
I actually saw her grave and I left her a hair tie because they said if you left her like something hair related, because that's what the rumor is, that like they said she was a voodoo queen, but she was like the hairdresser. So she would sit there and listen to all the secrets about everyone in town. And then it'd be like, how does she know all this stuff? And it's like, because she's been listening and she does hair. So I left her a hair tie and like as like a little tribute. So it was kind of cool to see her grave. Yeah.
And then, you know, if you want to sightsee and see just cool architecture, the newer cemeteries over towards Metairie have some of the most gorgeous tombs because they're all built above ground. And
Yeah. Super
Pantheon,
creepy,
Parthenon,
pretty.
pyramids. I mean, all ancient
Wow.
architecture.
Nicolas Cage has actually already purchased his, and it's a pyramid in the same cemetery as Marie Laveau. So
Are you serious?
yeah, I saw it.
Wow.
He's obviously not in there. He's still alive, but he's already
Well, yeah.
purchased his plot.
His
So,
plot. Right.
Cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is really cool, though.
And then along the morbid line, if you like that type of stuff, there's two houses that were owned by Anne Rice, and that
Yep.
she wrote
Anne Rice,
her
the author.
Mayfair Witches and Vampire Chronicles around. So you can go do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think in
So
the
I've actually
walking
seen
tours,
them.
they'll walk you past them.
Yeah,
in
and some
those
of the
areas.
tours. So she has one house that was like small and very New Orleans style, very old, like
Garden
tiny. But then she has another one that is like an entire block.
Well, you say tiny, but you're saying tiny
Yeah,
compared
that's
to
true.
her
And-
other house.
True.
It's
So
a
it's still
Garden
a
District
huge
home.
house.
It's still a huge mansion
Yeah.
in the Garden District, and it's gorgeous. But her second one was an orphanage.
It was an entire block. There was slave quarters once upon a time. Like it's like,
courtyard.
yeah. And now it's all converted, I think, to
yes.
her. It's like probably is a museum now.
I'm not sure. She doesn't live there anymore because she lives with her son, but
Yeah.
I think it's still.
But
owned
like you can
by-
drive around this entire block and it's all her property, like her house, quarters, everything.
Wow.
So that was actually pretty cool to see. I mean, Anne Rice written some pretty fantastic books. So
But yeah, the house on First Street, the small house, was in 90% of the Mayfair novels, and then the other one was in.
Oh, they're in her books?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And then the orphanage, I want to say, is in one of the later or middle Vampire Chronicles books she writes about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. New Orleans has a lot
That
of
is so
history.
cool.
It's an old city, yeah.
I love going to places that have so much history.
Yeah.
So
And it might not all be good
definitely-
history, but it happened, so it's history.
Regardless, absolutely.
And
So
of course,
cool
to finish
learn
off a trip, no trip to New Orleans is complete without doing the touristy Cafe du Monde and getting some beignets.
Yes, Cafe
and
du
coffee
Monde.
and,
Yes.
You
go get the frozen coffee. Is that what they call it? The frozen coffee. It's basically like a little frappuccino almost.
But the caffeine content is much higher. And it's
So
chicory
good.
coffee, or chicory.
So good. And then you get them beignets. Oh,
This is like what you have to do.
you have to.
before-
You cannot
Okay.
go without going to Cafe du Monde.
But just don't go to Cafe du Monde while it's raining, because I've seen too many couples giggling, laughing, and get in fights and dump the powdered sugar from the beignets on each other. So then you look like little ghosts because they're wet and covered in powdered sugar or do. And,
Jamie, we're going to go. I'm going to pour powdered sugar on you. Sorry.
That's totally cool. I was going to say, but can Susie come though? Because I feel like we're going to need somebody to show us around.
I think she'd be down for that. So, yes.
I think
Yeah.
so.
All I'd have to say is, can you? And she'd be like, New Orleans? Yes, I'm on my way.
I mean, my husband and I fell in love there. He proposed there.
Do you want to tell us the proposal story real quick? It's like our finale, yeah.
Wow.
Aww.
Oh, I would love to hear it, please.
To start off, they had been dating for how long?
11 years.
So we had already been like,
Wow.
when is he gonna pop the question? And he had already
We've gone to
That's where he
New York.
lived?
No,
no,
his
they lived
sister-
together.
His sister lived there.
Gotcha, that's right.
But they had been to New Year's Eve in New York City.
Yes.
And so we were all like, is it gonna happen? And it didn't.
Times Square? No, it didn't.
It didn't. So we were like, well, dang, maybe he's not like that type, Well, then
we went to my other sister's house in Mobile for a baby shower. And we're like,
which baby?
Asher.
Oh, that's so crazy. My middle nephew on that side.
And we're like, well, we're over here. Why don't we take the day to ourselves and go into New Orleans? It's a 2.5-hour drive from Mobile. It was St. Patty's Day. So, of course, there's tons of parades and other things. It's New Orleans. Anytime you can have a parade, they do. Oh, side note, if you go to New Orleans and just need a parade because there isn't a parade, you go down to the city hall and you get I think it's a $50 contract or whatever pass. And the cops go, what street do you want to have your parade on? What time of the day? And what do you need? You can hire a band, you can hire whatever, and you can have your 2 or 3 block parade.
Hold on. Can we have a Jet Set Hers parade in New Orleans, please?
It sounds like we can.
Yes.
And we will.
And it would be easy as
We're gonna
shit
do
to
this.
do.
Yes.
And you just promote it and you get all your followers to come in.
Y'all, all 3 of you, we're going to New Orleans.
We might have to just go there and do some research. That's what I'm.
All right.
Yeah.
It's business.
We're taking a business trip. Yeah.
There you
My
go.
wife won't mind. It's business.
I mean, you bring
I mean,
her
she can
too.
come
There's
too, yeah.
plenty to do.
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
it.
I guess you're right.
You get an Airbnb off St. Charles and she can sit and have high tea in the, sunroom while you go research and,
Right.
Jet Set Hers parade coming soon. New Orleans.
So
Just have like little microphones everywhere and
Yeah.
airplane balloons.
Travel.
you'll have to order some little buttons or something with on them. So you can throw out Betty your button saying,
Who do we know that's a DJ that'll do it?
She just said she knows a New Orleans DJ.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We're good. This is happening, y'all. All 3 of you, we're going.
It's a plan. So for St. Patty's Day, instead of throwing all beads and stuff like that for Mardi Gras, they throw cabbages and other vegetables.
What?
So, you can go and catch a head of
Cabbages. I feel like that knocked me out.
I mean, they've got some pretty green
Right.
beads too for St. Patty's Day, but in theme with all the Irish they have in New Orleans, they throw cabbages.
That's funny.
So we went there and we watched some of that. We went and visited our friend who works at Molly's right next to Coops. And then we walked down to the river. And while sitting at the river, Chris got down on a knee and proposed. And so after 11 years of visiting New Orleans multiple times a year, he asked me to marry
He
him.
finally did it. I'm so proud of him.
I said, what the hell? No.
She said nope, and here we. No, I'm just kidding. How long have you been married now?
We are going on 14 years this year.
Being married?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Just saying.
But we've known each other and been dating for 25.
So we're very proud of him. He did it, and here they are with my two beautiful little nephews. I love so much.
Only 14 years later.
Yep, it only took how long? But
11.
That's
so we're
awesome.
going on 25 years together.
yeah, well, thanks for coming on today, Susie.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Thank you for visiting.
Yeah, it's been fun recording from Florida. I'll be back in Colorado tomorrow, though. Don't worry. My home.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun. We learned a lot about New Orleans. We heard about our scalloping trip. So thank you so much for coming on today, Suze.
Thank you, Jenny.
Her name is Suzanne, but she also goes by Susie, Susie
I
Q.
do not go by Susie.
I call her Suze, so.
You're lucky.
Susie Q,
Special
Turtle Q,
one.
all that. So we'll definitely
Aw.
post some photos to our Insta on Jet Set Hers Pod. You can always reach out to us on email, jetsethers@gmail.com, or go to our website at jetsethers.com. But yeah, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.